They said she was dead, and this time, there was no doubt about it. The doctor had checked her pulse repeatedly, pressing his fingers against her wrist, then her neck, waiting for something, anything, but there was nothing. No movement, no breath, no heartbeat. Just stillness. Cold, lifeless stillness. Her family refused to believe it at first. Her mother cried uncontrollably, shaking her body, calling her name over and over again, hoping she would respond. But she didn't. Her father stood frozen, unable to process what had just happened. Within hours, the reality they feared most became unavoidable. She was gone. Preparations began that same day. Her body was cleaned, dressed in a simple white gown, and laid carefully inside a wooden coffin. People came from far and near to pay their last respects. Some whispered prayers. Others simply stared, trying to make sense of how someone so full of life could suddenly be nothing. But beneath that silence, something was wrong. As they closed the coffin, her fingers twitched slightly. It was small, so small that no one noticed. Not the grieving family, not the workers, not even the doctor who had confirmed her death. The coffin was sealed. The next morning, the burial began. The sky was gray, the air heavy, as if even the weather mourned her passing. The coffin was carried slowly to the graveyard, surrounded by tears and quiet murmurs. One by one, people said their goodbyes. Then the ropes tightened, and the coffin was lowered into the ground. The sound of dirt hitting the wood echoed softly at first. Then louder. Then faster. Each thud sealing her fate, burying her deeper beneath the earth. Until everything went silent. Complete darkness. Minutes passed. Then suddenly, her chest jerked. A sharp, desperate breath filled her lungs as her eyes flew open. She gasped violently, her body shaking as if pulled back from somewhere far away. Confusion flooded her mind. She tried to move, but her arms hit something hard above her. Wood. Tight. Close. Suffocating. Her breathing quickened as panic slowly crept in. She pushed harder, but there was no space, no room to move. The air was thick, making every breath feel like a struggle. Then it hit her. She had been buried alive. Fear exploded inside her. She began to scream, her voice raw and desperate as she pounded against the coffin with everything she had. Her hands slammed repeatedly against the wood, each hit weaker than the last as oxygen slowly ran out. "Help me! Please! I'm alive!" But the ground above her swallowed every sound. No one could hear her. No one knew. Time lost meaning. Seconds felt like hours. Her strength began to fade, her movements slowing as the air grew thinner. Her chest tightened, and her vision blurred. Then, a sound. Faint. Distant. Footsteps. At first, she thought she was imagining it. But then she heard it again, closer this time. Someone was walking above her grave. Hope sparked. With the last bit of energy left in her body, she raised her hand and slammed it against the coffin. Bam! Above ground, the man stopped walking. He looked around, confused. The graveyard was supposed to be empty. Everyone had left hours ago. He listened carefully. Silence. He shook his head and turned to leave. Then, bam! The sound came again. This time, louder. His heart skipped a beat. Slowly, he stepped closer to the freshly covered grave. His breathing became uneven as fear crept in. He leaned down, placing his ear close to the ground. Another faint echoed from beneath. He jumped back instantly. "There's no way," he whispered. But something inside him refused to ignore it. Without thinking, he dropped to his knees and started digging. His hands tore through the soil, faster and faster, panic mixing with disbelief. Dirt filled his nails, his arms, his clothes, but he didn't stop. He couldn't stop. Finally, his hands struck wood. The coffin. His body trembled as he cleared the remaining dirt and forced the lid open with shaking hands. It creaked loudly. Then it opened. He froze. Her eyes were wide open, staring straight at him. She was alive. Her chest moved slowly, barely noticeable, but she was breathing. He staggered back in shock, struggling to understand what he was seeing. This wasn't possible. She was declared dead. Everyone saw it. Yet here she was. Alive. But something felt wrong. Very wrong. Slowly, she lifted her hand and grabbed his wrist with surprising strength. Her grip was cold, unnaturally cold. He tried to pull away, but he couldn't. Her lips parted slowly. "You heard me," she whispered. Her voice was weak. But not normal. It echoed. Almost like it didn't belong to her. The man's fear turned into terror. Because as he looked closer, he realized something that made his blood run cold. She was smiling. And then she said, "I was never the one they buried."